Hi, my name is Brielle Takacs-Senske, and I am the co-founder of Get Featured, and I'm an outlier.
Hey everybody, welcome to Outlier on Air, the podcast where we interview founders, disruptors, and mavens. As always, I'm your host, Ever Gonzalez. On today's episode, we have Brielle Takacs. She is the co-founder of Get Featured. Brielle, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ever. Thank you so much for having me today.
We're excited to have you on the call today for a few different reasons. We want to get to know your story, you know, what you're doing, the good, the bad, and the ugly of your entrepreneurial journey, but then also be able to get some pointers as far as PR, some of the things that are working, some of the things that are not working, what our audience can kind of do to kind of get to that next level. So I think we called on the right person. So again, thank you for being on.
Excellent. I hope I could give you guys some good nuggets. So
I'm sure you can. So let's paint the picture real quick. Where are you calling us from right now?
I'm in sunny New Jersey. We're in the middle of a heat wave over here, and we're across the country from you.
Yeah. So where in New Jersey exactly?
We're actually in the mountains. We're in northwest, where like New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania meet. So we're actually in a mountainy region.
Is there
most people.
an entrepreneurial vibe or community there?
Unfortunately, no.
Really?
That is something that we are trying to bring to this space. We're trying to get together some meetups and get some good stuff going in our neck of the woods.
With the stuff that you're doing, does that matter? I'm assuming with PR and the company you're building, you could be doing this from the beach in Puerto Rico or up in the mountains or wherever, right? It'd be nice to have that community, but basically you can do from anywhere, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, most of what we're doing right now is all virtual, whether it be online. We love Zoom.
Yes.
Our business partner is actually in Israel. So it's one of those things. It's like we've actually never met our business partner in
really?
real life. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Oh,
It's
that
like
is awesome.
it's like online dating to the extreme.
But it's working.
Yeah, no, it works. It works great. It's so much fun, and I don't know. I feel like we're on the other side of the world half the time with him. Our hours are kind of funky because of it, but it's great for us.
But it's an adventure, I'm sure. So let's kind of dive right into it. Let's talk about Get Featured. What is it? How does it work? What can we learn from this whole process?
Sure. Yeah. We'll Get Featured. We're a media company that we started in 2016. We founded it because we are actually on the podcasting end ourselves. We have my husband's a podcaster, our other business partner, he's a podcaster, and we found in this space this need for really well-trained guests and like high-level guests to go on shows. And we had a lot of people come on our shows that they were just, doing a sales pitch the whole time, or they were just trying to bore you to death with their facts and their figures. And so we were feeling a little bit of pain, and we're like, oh man, if people could just, learn how to tell their story. So that's where we came out of it from our own need for people to be able to communicate and tell great stories. So that was our pain.
So it started last year, and are you focusing specifically on podcasts, or is that just a big component? But you also help your clients with other type of media appearances and gigs as well?
Yeah, so we do help with other type of media as well. My background is actually just in traditional PR. I was on staff for a number of years in healthcare PR. I've also had a lot of clients in different industries, nonprofit industries. So I was able to bring together the more traditional PR side, and then our other co-founders, they had the podcasting side. So that's kind of how we came together, meeting of the minds, and said, I think we could do something with this.
Yeah, and so you've kind of come full circle with the different talents from the founding group, and we'll get into that here in just a sec. But I want to get to know, really dissect the things that you're doing and get featured here. So let's kind of walk through the process. So somebody finds you, they hear your pitch, whether it's online or in person, and they want to sign up or be one of your clients. What happens then? What's the process?
So the first thing we do is we just figure out what is your story. Everybody has one. So we just really want to build relationships through media. So whether it's we're trying to work with journalists or we're trying to work with podcasters, we want to be able to communicate in such a way that people are able to speak about themselves in an interesting way,
So do you help with that actual lessons for the entrepreneur? Do you help them craft their own story?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where we start. We build our whole program around that.
I like what you're doing because, first of all, it's difficult, right? What you're doing, it's kind of a two-edged sword because obviously you need clients, so you're putting some things in place to attract those clients, but then you also need those media connections, whether it's podcasting or newspaper or magazines or any of that stuff. So you're kind of building these two different camps there. What's more difficult, building up the media side or building up the client side? Or is there a difference?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you ask me one week and my answer would probably be different than the next. So I don't really know on that one. I mean, we do have a really big network that we've personally built because we're podcasters. Mm-hmm. So as far as that goes, we've had a lot of connections that way. And then I guess as far as like journalists go, we do a lot of networking events. So I don't know, that part has usually been pretty good. And then clients, we've mainly been referral. So it's been, it's kind of been nuts actually. It's like, we've been referred like crazy. So as soon as we started, it's kind of like we're almost in over our heads.
Which can be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of clients are you working with? What type of entrepreneurs? Is there a specific industry or type that you're working with, or is it all over the board?
Actually, you might find this interesting. We kind of look for outliers.
Nice. Very good.
We do look for people that are just, doing things different. We're also looking for a good story, right? So we want to work with people who are all really interesting. Everybody is just super dynamic that we work with. I mean, the people that we work with, I'm like amazed every day. I'm like, you did what?
Huh.
And it's pretty crazy. Like one of our clients, she interviewed Steve Jobs, and he told her in the interview, he's like, oh yeah, you probably asked the best questions.
Oh, really?
Like, what a compliment coming from Steve Jobs, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so these are the outliers. So it's referrals, but do you have anything in place to be able to kind of continue to look for these entrepreneurs with great stories, or literally are you just sitting back waiting for these referrals?
No, so we're not sitting back.
Yeah.
I guess the referrals we have been kind of aggressive with. Nice. Because we do have like an affiliate program, an ambassadors program. Mm-hmm. So our ambassadors that we've chosen are kind of these wild guys. So they attracts like,
Yeah.
So.
And so it's been working.
Yeah.
What with the clients that you have, I mean, and the team you have now, is how many can you have? How many can you work with at a time without it being too much, where you have enough attention to each individual client?
We haven't reached our capacity yet.
Okay.
So I don't really have an answer for that because we've also expanded. So we do have systems in place in order to like train our staff, how to do what we've started, like the co-founders. We've been able to train our staff through systems. We actually use what's called the Hubbard Management System, and pretty much, we write up exactly what we're doing, like to a T. So it's duplicatable to the person that's you're mentoring, and you're trying to teach them to do what you're doing. So,
and at this point,
we haven't been able to max.
And at this point, how big is the staff?
We're at 5 right now.
Nice, that's good.
Yeah.
And you started last year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for a new startup, it's not bad. Yeah.
So in 3 years, what is this going to look like? Get featured. What is it going to look like?
Oh man. I mean, so right now we've mainly started in the podcasting space because that's our comfort zone as a group. But we've expanded already a little bit out into the media side. So, I mean, we just want to be the PR firm for online media.
Very nice. With I like that it's podcast, and obviously not just because we're podcasters, and I think it's a great way to kind of get the stories out there, but it just makes sense, right? As podcasters, we're looking for great guests, and so, getting a call from you or an email from somebody like you saying you should check out this guy or this gal makes my job easier, right? And plus, your client is being taken care of, but that way, your client doesn't need to grow an audience that way. You're already coming to our show or another podcaster show, and it's already a built-in audience. Have you had to really work hard with your clients to, knowing what to do, what to say when they're actually being interviewed, or has everybody kind of come in knowing exactly, for the most part, what to do or how to really talk to, when they're being interviewed or telling a story?
I mean, for the most part right now, our clients are all kind of rock stars. Like most of them have been on, CNN. They've been on all the major news channels, or if not that, they might themselves be public speakers. So it's kind of, we not just help them with being on the podcast, telling their story. That's a major part, but that's not the only thing. We also teach them how to use this media and share it out, because it's great, the podcaster has their own audience, but we help all of our clients learn how to share it out so that your fan base, like their personal zone, is now being informed about what they're doing, and they're helping them to build their own tribe.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't bring on a potential client?
That's a good question. I think if somebody really wasn't a good fit, we wouldn't bring them on. We haven't had to do that yet, but we are looking for a certain type of person. So if they didn't fit that bill, then yeah, I guess we wouldn't take them.
You would turn it down. Now let's talk about the book that you're working on.
Yeah, so the book that we're working on, it's actually How to Get Featured.
Nice.
And that's going to cover all different types of media. So it's kind of perfect timing, because as I speak to you today, one of our other co-founders, he just had his first feature story in Forbes.
Nice.
And then we have one of our other co-founders, his story in Forbes is coming out in about a month, I believe. And we're working on it. So he has like a following on, how is he getting in Forbes, right? So people are following him to learn how they can do that themselves. And this book that we're writing, it's teaching people how to become influencers in their space.
When is that going to be available?
Our target date is by the end of the summer. So
that's around the corner, right?
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yeah. It is a lot of work.
So let's kind of dive into what we can learn from you, right? Where obviously this is your profession, this is what you do, this is what you do well. So for our audience, entrepreneurs literally from all over the world, some of them that are just getting started, most of us are in the trenches trying to continue to build our companies, whether, and try to get featured or just try to get more clients, more sales, that kind of stuff. What kind of advice would you have for the average entrepreneur that is trying to kind of make it happen on their own? What can we be doing right now to kind of get noticed a little bit more?
Okay. So I guess the best way to start is look at what you have done. A lot of people think, oh, I've been in this small article once 2 years ago and it's dead. And it's not. It's something that you can be like continually sharing out, whether you use Facebook and you set up a Hootsuite. Like, we constantly repurpose old content, and it's hysterical because we were just out with one of our clients the other day, and he was like, "Oh, didn't you guys just get on TV this week?"
Nice.
And we're like, "No." We're like, that interview was actually from about a year ago, but yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So using evergreen content like interviews, like any sort of articles that you've had come out, and just constantly be resharing them.
It's funny because we, as a outlier, this platform that we've been able to build, I love telling other people's stories, and like now that you're on here, we're gonna share your stuff, and we're gonna prepare it, and it's gonna be evergreen, and I'm gonna love kind of putting that together and sending it out. But when it comes to like promoting myself, like me personally, not just outlier my company, but for me, whether it's an article that we've had or an interview that I was guest on, it's always weird. Like I feel so strange kind of promoting myself, although I love promoting other people. Is there anything, and I've heard this from many people, is there anything we can do to kind of get over it? Or maybe just do it, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just doing it. I mean, I didn't go back, I didn't start at all with my personal story, but I mean, I've pretty much been in the PR world since I was born. I mean, I was born in the car on Route 80, so literally the day after I was born, I was front page news, right?
Nice.
So
nice.
And it's funny. So that's like my personal background, and then from there, my parents, they own their own business, so I was always like out on the street, trying to route people in and just talk to them, and so you just kind of got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but once you do it enough, it's like it becomes easy. And yeah, you do have to talk about yourself.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough, but good. That's great advice, right? So some of the things that you're seeing entrepreneurs do that maybe isn't working as well, or maybe something that we need to stop now. What are some of the common mistakes that you're seeing out there in the entrepreneurial space that entrepreneurs are making? The kind of mistakes that they're making.
So I touched on this a little bit earlier, but so I guess there is a way to go about it with what I just said, talking about yourself. So yes, you definitely want to talk about what you're doing, but the best definition that I have for public relations is making good works well known. So you more want to talk about not just yourself, but like what you're doing for others, for the world. And in that vein, it's not so hard to talk about. You know what I mean? It's not as selfish, or if you're talking about what you're doing, yeah, it's felt a lot better.
Sure.
Yeah. I hope does that help at all?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Is
Cool.
it difficult for what you're doing now, right? Being in PR now, for the most part, we all think we're media companies. We all think we're PR machines, right? Just because it's a little bit easier to kind of do things online and get out there a little bit more. Whether we're doing it right or wrong, that's a different story. But do you see that you're competing with? I mean, I guess everybody now, right? It's a noisy world. Online and in media. How do you personally battle that? How do you try to get ahead of that?
I guess it's just not stopping.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a lot of content that you come up with or you put out there might just fall flat on its face. so you kind of have to just keep on putting it out there, and it'll either stick or it'll just fall to the wayside.
I can see
So
that.
that's really the only way I think to break through the noise is just be louder.
Nice. And so, the company being a year old, right? What are some of the difficulties that you guys have had personally with building the company, and then eventually now building your own brand as well, right? You help so many others. What are you doing now for your own?
I mean, it's funny that you asked that because we have our other two co-founders that I've mentioned, Jeremy and Daniel. We do a lot talking about them and everything that they're doing because they're also podcast hosts, and they've been working more on the media side for a while because I've helped push them along. So now it's kind of like, oh yeah, I have to do this too for myself and put myself out there and do the things that I do for everybody else. So,
And are you comfortable with that?
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoy it. I personally like in-person communications better. So for me, that side's a little bit hard because that's not what we do. So I do like speaking gigs and stuff like that. That's always fun. But yeah, so that's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge.
Something you can overcome, something you're doing well already, right? With how young the company is. Obviously, this is not your first go at it. You've been in PR in this industry for a long time. What would you consider the number one reason for your success up until this point? What is it about you that has made you who you are right now and have had the success that you've had up until this point?
I think it's the fact that we don't stop. Like, I have had, being in PR, there's certain campaigns that you do that you might have a flop, so that's something. It's like, if I would have just gotten beat up over it and upset. I mean, I could think of this one event a few years ago. We were trying to figure out, how do we connect to firefighters out of all, groups of people. Mm-hmm. And so we were putting together this big firemen's recognition event. We had gotten sponsors for it. We had worked with other companies to help us. We had aligned with the mayor of the town. She was coming. We had all this food put together and donated by the sponsors, and balloons, and you name it. And it was a group. I had never worked with firefighters before. And it's show night. We're sitting there waiting for everybody to come, and nobody showed up.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. Yeah, oh. The only person that showed was the mayor that was accepting the award.
Oh, no. As an event coordinator, as an event planner, we host a ton of events here at Outlier. That is my worst nightmare. And so what did you do?
Well, being what I am, it was like a god awful feeling. Like, it was just, that was probably, one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. But what we did was we had some staff that came, but it wasn't for staff. It was actually just for firefighters, right? Uh-huh. And the mayor actually she was the only person who showed to accept her award. So we did get some good pictures. It looked gorgeous. It was decorated like it was supposed to be an event. There was food like there was supposed to be an event. It was all done up. And we actually, post the event, we did submit it to some of the local news. They did pick it up as being like the recognition event that we wanted it to be. And we just had to leave out the fact that
that nobody came. Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah. And then actually we did a little bit of 2020 on that, where we definitely, hindsight 2020, we did not survey our public. And for me, it's like I should have known that going into it. It was a new group I was trying to reach. But we kind of just assumed. We made these assumptions with the event, and you can't. If you're if you're reaching into a new market, you always have to survey. And it was something we didn't do, and we felt it.
Lesson learned, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm never making that mistake again.
I love this story, right? Your job is so I'm assuming not easy, but it can be rewarding. And every day you're pushing, you're pushing, you're pushing.
Mhm.
What are some of the what keeps you going, right? Because you have events, maybe like this, an event that didn't go well, or an interview or a feature from one of your clients that maybe you didn't get the traction that you were looking for. So it can be difficult. What keeps you motivated day after day?
I mean, I guess it's kind of the game of it,
Yeah.
because at this point, you expect some things aren't going to go the way that you want them to. Um, but when you get something big in, like today, we're celebrating this Forbes feature, so it's like we're dancing.
Nice.
We are celebrating all these little things. Um, and as a new company, I think one of the reasons we've been able to grow so quickly is because we keep statistics. And so when we are up, a week over the previous, we celebrate it. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but we pat each other we pat each other on the back, and we say, you did a really great job, and let's do it again next week. And sometimes it's as simple as uh, buying lunch for everybody and
Nice.
just celebrating the little things. But I think that's why we've been able to grow so quickly, is because we don't get down on ourselves. There are weeks where it's like, oh gosh, come on.
Sure.
But the ones that are great, we're acknowledging each other for it.
What's your biggest challenge right now at this point in the company?
Um, that's another good question. Because we're new, we have really big goals.
Hmm.
So it's kind of, we're in the process right now of working backwards so that we can hit these huge, huge goals that, like, last year, this time, I would have, been shaking just thinking about them. Um, so I guess it's uh, putting everything together so that we can hit them, and doing it incrementally so that you're not looking at this huge mountain. How am I going to climb it? And you're able to step back, see the stairs, and work it.
How's it going so far?
um I mean, pretty good. We've hit everything we want to be so far. We haven't we haven't finished year one out, so it's it's going to be exciting this fall when we look at where we were.
I love it. Now you mentioned earlier one of your co-founders is your husband, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What is that like? We've had other entrepreneurs that are married to their co-founder or work with with their spouse, and we've heard some great stories and we've heard some bad stories. What's the dynamic there when it comes to the working relationship?
Oh, it's so funny. I'm sure if he was on the call with me, he would say I would have fired her months ago.
Nice, nice.
But no, it's funny because it's like I'm the head of the household, and we're at a power struggle, especially since we have three co-founders. Um, yeah, we're always at a little bit of a power struggle. I can say that. But
It's
it's fun.
yeah. Overall, do you get to because you get then you go home. Are you still talking about the business, or is there an off switch? At a certain time where you're like, now let's just live our lives, not worry about our baby, the startup, right? Um, how does it work with you guys there when it comes to
I mean, we're still
balancing this
being
whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working together, I would say, for like 7 years.
Okay,
So it's not really new for us to be working together. Between like him growing his show, and he's had previous businesses himself. So, and I was always like helping him plan things out and do it with him. So it's not really a new dynamic for us. It's kind of funny though, like when we go out with friends, and we love talking about the business, or something that we're working on, or a new tactic that we're trying, or things like that. And to be with friends, and that, you know, they don't really have the same mindset that we do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, guys, chill.
Turn it
We
off.
just want
Yeah.
to talk about, yeah, we just want to talk about like other things. And we're like, okay, fine.
That's
We'll
funny.
try.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll try, right? Okay, as we start to kind of wind this episode down a little bit, a couple more questions. We focused on PR and all of those things, and you gave some great advice and some things to look out for. Overall, then, as entrepreneurs, those that are listening, because of your experience and the things that you've done and the people that you've worked with, just overall, not necessarily PR, what kind of advice would you have for our audience, something they can take into their lives now to kind of get them to that next level?
So let's just say, I don't know if you guys follow Grant Cardone at all,
Sure.
but yeah, he's really helped us. You know, your biggest obstacle is obscurity, right? So I think if you're going to get to the next level, you just have to put yourself out there and keep going forward.
Nice and simple. Keep going forward.
Yes.
Right? I like that.
No need to complicate that.
Keep going, no matter what. Keep going forward. Keep moving forward. I like that a lot. Now, for
One
those
foot in front of the other.
that's right, and it's you know, some days might be difficult, but as long as you keep making progress, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
For those that have listened to the show and want to connect with you or learn more about Get Featured, where can we find you online?
You can find me at getfeatured.com. And if you guys are interested in the book, definitely go to getfeatured.com/book, and you'll find out everything that we have coming down for that. If you just want to connect with me, you can find me online, Brielle Slate, SLATE.
Perfect. So Outliers, you can go to outliermagazine.co. That's outliermagazine.co. First of all, subscribe to the podcast, rate, review it, share with your friends. You'll be able to find almost 400 episodes at this point of fantastic entrepreneurs. Brielle now is one of those entrepreneurs. But feel free to reach out to her. We're going to have links on the show notes page to the website, her social media accounts. She's been amazing. Reach out to her, connect with her. Brielle, this has been great. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, to share your story, the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship, and then talking about your company as well. So we wish you much success, and no doubt that we're gonna continue to follow you and your career and this wonderful company.
Thank you so much, Ever. It's been so much fun being with you on
I
this
love
show.
it. Thank you so much. Outliers, we'll talk to you tomorrow.